Hey there, vinyl community people. It's Mike MGK Boston. Where were you in September of 1987? Yeah, I'm a little rusty with that. You know where I was in September of 1987? I was a freshman at this place, Carlton University. That's right. I actually went to university. This is my old jacket. It's here I graduated. Somehow I graduated. It's my name, Mike. So yeah, I was thinking about college not because it's been 36 years since I went and started, but my daughter just went and she's just starting her first year. Somehow I think it's not as rowdy as it was with MGK at Carleton University that first week of September in 1987. Oh, at least I hope it's not. Anyway, I wanted to take us back there. I wanted to go back there, take a little time capsule and kind of relive that, all the tunes I was pumping that first week. So what they call it up in Canada, they call it Frosh week. So that first week, it's basically pretend you're on spring break. There's free concerts every night. Kegs are rolling all around the quad. There's basically no rules because it's 1987. So yeah, so that's kind of what went on. I'll never forget that day. My parents dropping me off. Ottawa is the capital of Canada, and it was about an hour and a half drive. So I didn't go to school too far from my hometown, but I can remember getting there. It was like 11:30, noonish, and so it was really a lot of stuff was going on. People are moving into the dorms, and there's a big quad like in the center, a common area, and we're kind of standing around, and literally I'm standing there with my parents, and this guy walks by with a dolly with a keg on it. And my dad's like, I know what this is all about. It was just really funny memory. Yeah, so anyway, I gotta take off this jacket because it's getting hot. There you go on the back right there. Yeah, black and red with colors. Team is the Ravens football team. So yeah, yeah. Whew. All right. So some of the music that week, that year for that matter, 87, 88, that first year of my academic career, if you want to call it that. So yeah, I in the dorm, a lot of parties were going on. So, excuse me, a little gas from that shotgun. Woo! A little rusty on those. That's why I drink the lights. All right. Yes, New Order Substance from what year? 1987. So this is a double album, of course. I've shown this before. Nothing new to see here, just minimal artwork on the inside. But there was just a lot of great tunes on this. Of course, everybody knows Blue Monday and the Clubs, Thieves Like Us, True Faith. I mean, it's all good. And it's New Order, and that's Substance. So I of course, had my full stereo in my room. It was just Party Central. I'm going to give a shout out to my friends Ron and Scott. They were my neighbors across the hall. I know they watch these videos. They don't have YouTube channels. But those two guys, I think Scott's living in Halifax now and Ron's in Toronto. But we had some great parties, boys, right? Leave a comment below once you watch this video. Yes, a legend in my own mind. Yes, MGK Boston, that's me. But this is Bob Marley. This is a great collection. This didn't come out in 87. This came out in 1984, of course, on the Island record label. But this got a lot of play. I was always into reggae, even from probably in my later high school years, right before I went to university. There's a nice gatefold on the inside. So yeah, there's all the hits. They're all here. Of course, you know, I Shot the Sheriff, Buffalo Soldier, Get Up, Stand Up, Stir It Up, Jammin'. I've got the whole Bob Marley catalog now, so this is just gravy that I have this. But this, as far as collections go, this is really good, and this is quite valuable according to Discogs. I think this is a $35, $40 record if it's in the shape that this one's in. And that's the miracle here, folks. The partying that went on, I mean, I'm not exaggerating. It's a miracle these records are intact, let alone they play as well as they do. I mean, they're clean. These are like a clean copy. I don't know. Maybe I didn't let people near the stereo and somehow I was able to balance the needle given the state of affairs. But yeah, these guys played my Frosh week. Like I said, there were several free concerts that week. It's 5440. They're I'd call them pop indie. They were from Vancouver, British Columbia. And they played one night, and shout out to my friend down in Melbourne, Australia. The Hoodoo Gurus actually played that week too, but I don't have any Hoodoo Gurus. I should correct that. I used to have Blow Your Cool. I don't know what happened to it. That I lost it in those days at Carlton, so I lent it to somebody and didn't get it back. Boo-hoo. And this is another band from Canada. It's the Tragically Hip. It's their self-titled debut. They're from Kingston, Ontario. They played my Frosh week too. So those were 3 good shows I got to see that week. And again, they were all free. You just show up and party. That's how that was the admission charge. You gotta be willing to fight for your right to party, right? It's like the Beastie Boys. So this one, yes, Cult. I played this one so much. I remember my friend Dave was like, "Jesus Christ, Mike, no more Cult. Don't play it again," right? So much play that first month or two of the fall of 1987. Of course, I've shown this one before. And I just saw the Cult summer of 2022, new lineup, of course, with Ian Asbury and Billy Duffy, and then the rhythm, forever changing rhythm section. I don't remember who these 2 guys were, but bass players and drummers came and went with the Cult. So that's electric. The year of the release on that one is 1987, right? A lot of releases here from 1987 because that's the year I'm talking about. Yeah. So speaking of my dorm room, yeah, there's a great photo right there. It's me and my buddy Andrew right there. He was actually a student at University of Toronto. He lives out in Calgary now, buddy of mine. We're still friends on Facebook and stuff. But yeah, he came down for a road trip while weekend. And you can see the posters in the dorm room. There's a Jesus and Mary chain. There's a chick in a bikini. It's Old Vienna. That was any of my friends in Canada would know that beer name. So the beer reps would be walking around the campus. You would never get away with that now, handing out posters like this. Yeah, this was probably banned, I would think, today. And there's some NASCAR poster again with some chicks on it. But yeah, it's as the slogan goes with Old Vienna, our beer around here, right? Of course, there's my buddy Andrew. He's swinging a 12-pack of Molson Golden. I don't know if he's going in doing a WWF move on me there, wrestling move. But yeah, we were clearly partying that Friday night. There's another shot of me in someone else's room. Going through some tunes. Look at the hair, right? There's a Bauhaus poster, Sky's Gone Out, and there's a bit of a New Order poster there. So that's a vintage MGK right there. So where are we here? Yeah, there's some more pop alternative for you. This was huge. This is one of the first CDs I ever bought. Actually, I bought this one the winter of 1988. I remember buying this. This was about $25 at the time, which was a lot of money. Depeche Mode, music for the masses. All right, now next one goes out to my friend Ben Rankins. Yes, and he did his 5 artists that'll never cross his door or be in his collection. He had U2 there. So I got to explain a bit here with U2. So to me, they were kind of like the Police. For those first 5 albums, well, the Police only did 5. For the first 5 U2 albums, they could do no wrong. They were my favorite band when I was in high school, bar none. Discovered them in 9th grade with the album Boy. In October, and on War, Unforgettable Fire, which leads us right here to the Joshua Tree. This came out in the spring of 1987. And another story about that spring. There they are, nice gatefold on the inside, young looking dudes. So this came out on a Tuesday because I remember I walked up, I had to go to Sam the Record Man to get a copy when the day it came out. That Friday, I was going for March break because I was in my senior year of high school. So some guy organized a chartered bus to go to Daytona Beach for spring break. And of course I was all in. The total cost for hotel and the bus trip there was a 24-hour bus ride. I remember it left on a Friday night at like 5 o'clock. And we rolled into Daytona Beach late Saturday afternoon the next day. And mayhem ensued. But anyway, yeah, so I bought this album the Tuesday. I made a cassette recording of it. And I brought it with me, and we were playing it on the boombox on the bus all the way down. It was this one, and then we'd go over to the Beastie Boys' License to Ill, and then back to this again, rinse and repeat, over and over again. So it was brand new, right? And then I remember playing it at the hotel, and these American college kids were there, and they were like, "Is this the new U2?" Because it came out a week ahead in Canada than the release in the US. So they were impressed that I had that, blah, 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 in between partying. So after this, I kind of checked out with U2. Actung Baby is okay. But the first 5 were really, really what did it for me. But so I'm with Ben Rankins on, making fun of The Edge, the guitarist. What grown man calls himself a name like that, especially if you're going to be in a great rock band like they were? Dave Evans is his name. That's a fine name. The Edge is ridiculous. And I think I saw one of the comments on Ben's video, someone said where his parents called Mr. and Mrs. Edge. That was pretty funny. That might have been Mike's Vinyl Spiral made that pretty clever comment. And again, Bono Vox, right? Apparently that's Latin for good vocals or something like that. His name's Paul Hewson. Paul Hewson's a cool name. What's wrong with that? I'm Paul Hewson, lead vocalist of U2, right? It's just ridiculous, right? And then, you know, this is when he started wearing the stupid hats at this point, but it does get worse in the fashion, and I'm going to go there in a minute. So on the inside here, I still have the original poster. And there's all the lyrics on the inside. Looks like I've replaced the inner sleeve. This is my original copy, like I said. That's pretty cool right there in the center. And then I bought this 7-inch single. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. I didn't buy it for that. I bought it for the B-side. It's a song there called Spanish Eyes. I didn't buy a lot of 45s, but I bought that one just for that. Yes, here's another shot of me in my dorm room. This was near the end of the year, so you could see all the cases of empties piling up right there, and those are all some Canadian beers that you may recognize. I think Labatt Crystal's now defunct. This is the Molson Pleasure Pack. You got 12 Molson Canadian, and I think the other side was 12 Molson Golden in the Pleasure Pack. Yeah, right there. When you can't decide, yeah. And here's another Labatt, half Labatt Blue, half Labatt 50, 12 and 12, and there's a 2-4 of 50 right there in the bottom. And there's yours truly with him rocking the mullet at that point. Look at that. You can see that up close. And that t-shirt was a record store in Ottawa called Shake Records. You can't barely make out the logo there, but yeah, pretty much destroyed that dorm room by the end of the year. As you can see, there's a mattress on the floor. It's a complete disaster. It was real Animal House. It was all male floor, of course. Women were only by invitation only, if you were lucky. Oh wait, is it something else? No, that's it. All right, so that's it for photos. And then back to the U2 thing. Oh yes. So this is, I used to get this magazine, Q Magazine. It's a British magazine, but you can buy it in North America it was quite costly at the time. You can see here, this is an issue from 2004. It's $8.75. So this is when U2 at this point, they did that album, How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb. I just saw them 3 years prior in 2001, I've mentioned before. That was in Montreal. So this is when they really started to get ridiculous. So there's Bono when he began the sunglasses phase, indoor and outdoor. Apparently the excuse was glaucoma. I'm not buying it. I just think he's just a pompous ass at this point. And yeah, there's Ben Rankin's friend there, The Edge, he always wore those beanies, right? Equally bad fashion choices, really bad. But this next photo really caps it off for me. Absolutely ridiculous. Look at them. They look so sad and morose. And look at Bono. He's like, everybody look at me, right? So I think this guy, and then his whole preaching and getting involved in politics on both sides of the aisle. I don't talk about politics, but preaching to everybody from everything from third world debt to famine and all the rest of it. I don't like when musicians get involved in those things. It overshadows the music and it becomes annoying. I was reading the Daily Mail. That's a British tabloid. I just can't get enough of that photo. It's so stupid. The Daily Mail is this tabloid I read. And recently there's Bono with no shirt, gut hanging out now at this point in his life on the back of Jeff Bezos' yacht. I mean, I thought, you hypocrite, please. Again, that's a shout out to Ben Rankins. The hypocrisy runs rampant. What else is in here as far as funny photos? Oh, there he is, like hobnobbing with the politicians of the world, and even with the Pope here. I mean, good God, the Pope had nothing better to do that day. All right, so rounding things out here with these guys. Yes, Motorhead right here. Lemmy Kilmister played this one a lot too. This one's a 1987 release. Comes in hot with rock and roll. Eat the Rich, The Wolf, Boogeyman, Stone Deaf in the USA. I was stone deaf in Ottawa from cranking up the tunes rather. So there they are on the back. Nice looking gentleman right there. So yeah, 1987. And closing things out, this was not from 1987. This is from 81, 82, 1982, straight out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'll give you the Violent Femmes. If you didn't hear Blister in the Sun every time at the student pub, you were having a bad night. That was in heavy rotation, and everybody would always sing along to it. It's just fun, and whenever I hear that, it really takes me back. But Prove My Love is another great one on this. There's a really nice shirt right there. I sported many Paisley shirts back in the day. Yeah, it was a fashion icon, right? Even right down to that university jacket, right? So that's the Violent Femmes. So that's that. So I really hope you folks enjoyed this video. So look, what were you doing in September of 1987 around this time? Like I said, this was my Frosh week. I was partying hard, right? Others might have been in the military, others working, doing whatever. Make a video and tell me what you were doing in September of 1987, if you can even remember it. The only reason I remember it in such finite detail is just because it's just a great part of my life. I have nothing but great memories of it, and I do it over again in a heartbeat. But anyway, yeah, just a fun idea. Get creative with it if you feel so inclined. But yeah, MGK, September 1987. Those were the days. See you next time.